Come on, what are you gonna do about it?
Crash! Books scatter across the linoleum floor like fallen leaves. A water bottle explodes against the lockers, spraying ice-cold liquid across the hallway. 3 shadows loom over a crumpled figure. "Welcome to Lincoln High, loser." The words slice through the air with practiced cruelty. Jake Morrison's knuckles are white against his backpack straps. His shoulders shake, not from fear, but from something else entirely, something dangerous. The bullies don't see it yet. They're too busy laughing. But in 30 seconds, their world is about to shatter, because sometimes the quiet ones are the most dangerous of all. Rewind to this morning. Jake Morrison steps through the glass doors of Lincoln High for the first time. 17 years old, 5'8", wearing a faded hoodie that's seen better days. His father's military dog tags catch the fluorescent light beneath his shirt. He moves like a ghost through the crowded hallway. No swagger, no bravado, just steady, measured steps that suggest someone who's learned to navigate hostile territory before. The other students barely notice him, another faceless transfer student in a sea of strangers. They see the worn sneakers, the discount backpack, the way he keeps his eyes down.
What do we want?
They make assumptions. Poor kid. Probably won't last a week. But if they looked closer, really looked, they might notice the calluses on his knuckles, the way his eyes scan every corner, every exit, the discipline in his posture that speaks of countless hours of training. Jake finds his locker. 247. He opens it quietly, methodically organizing his books. Behind him, whispers begin to circulate like poison in the air. Fresh meat. Think he'll cry on the first day? $20 says he transfers out by Friday. Jake's jaw tightens. His fingers pause on his chemistry textbook. For just a moment, something flickers across his face, a shadow of memory, dark and painful. Then it's gone. He closes his locker with a soft click and disappears into the crowd. By lunch, the vultures have circled. Marcus Chen, 6'2", quarterback shoulders, and a smile that never reaches his eyes, leads the pack. Tommy Rodriguez and Brett Williams flank him like loyal attack dogs, their sneers perfectly synchronized. They corner Jake by the vending machines, where the security cameras have convenient blind spots. "Hey, Salvation Army!" Marcus's voice drips with mock concern. "Heard you're living in the Riverside apartments. That's rough, man. Real rough." Jake says nothing. He feeds quarters into the machine, methodical and calm. Tommy laughs, a harsh barking sound. "Did you get those shoes from a dumpster? Seriously, I'm curious. There's got to be a story there." The can of Coke drops with a metallic thud. Jake bends to retrieve it, still silent. This isn't Jake's first rodeo with bullies. Military brat, 17 schools in 12 years, always the outsider looking in. He's learned that engaging only makes it worse. Better to be invisible, better to endure. But Marcus isn't finished. "You know what? I think you're scared. I think underneath that tough guy's silence, you're just another coward hiding behind..." Marcus reaches out and flicks Jake's dog tags, the ones hanging beneath his shirt. The reaction is instantaneous. Jake's hand snaps up, catching Marcus's wrist in a grip that turns the bigger boy's face white. For 3 heartbeats, the hallway holds its breath. Then Jake releases him and walks away. Marcus stares at his wrist, already showing the red outline of fingers. His eyes narrow with something darker than embarrassment. This isn't over, freak. But Jake is already gone, leaving only questions in his wake. The final bell rings at 3:47 p.m. Jake shoulders his backpack and heads for the exit, ready to put another day behind him. But Marcus and his crew are waiting in the parking lot, their patience finally exhausted. "Running away again?" Marcus calls out, his voice carrying across the asphalt. "Just like Daddy taught you?" A crowd begins to gather. Cell phones emerge like weapons, ready to capture whatever happens next. Jake stops walking, his shoulders tense. "What's wrong?" Brett taunts. "Gonna call the principal, gonna cry for mommy." Slowly, Jake turns around. When he speaks, his voice is quiet, but it carries. "My father didn't teach me to run. Something in his tone makes the crowd fall silent. He taught me discipline, control, how to assess threats and respond appropriately. Jake's eyes find Marcus in the crowd. He also taught me that some people mistake kindness for weakness. Marcus steps forward, puffing out his chest. Oh yeah? And what else did Daddy? He taught me that bullies usually stop when they realize they picked the wrong target. The words hang in the air like a challenge. What happens next will blow your mind. But before we continue, if you're enjoying this story of hidden strength and justice, smash that like button and let me know in the comments. Have you ever underestimated someone who surprised you? Your stories fuel these videos, so don't hold back. Jake reaches up and pulls his father's dog tags from beneath his shirt. The metal glints in the afternoon sun, revealing an inscription most people never see. Staff Sergeant Michael Morrison, Force Reconnaissance, Marine Semper Fi. My dad didn't just serve, Jake continues, his voice steady as stone. He trained Marines in hand-to-hand combat for 15 years. Guess what he did on weekends? The color drains from Marcus's face. He trained me.
Here you go.
What happens next unfolds like choreography. Marcus swings first, a wild, telegraphed haymaker born of panic and pride. Jake doesn't dodge dramatically or showboat for the crowd. He simply isn't there when the fist arrives. Sidestep, redirect, counter. Marcus stumbles forward as Jake's controlled strike finds the pressure point just below his shoulder. The quarterback's arm goes numb instantly. Stop, Jake says quietly. This doesn't have to continue. But Tommy and Brett rush him from both sides, thinking numbers will tip the scales. They're wrong. Jake moves like water, fluid, relentless, unstoppable. Every motion has purpose. Every counterattack is precisely calibrated. Not enough to seriously injure, but more than enough to end the threat. Tommy finds himself face down on the asphalt, his arm twisted behind his back in a submission hold that would make UFC fighters nod with approval. Brett sits dazed against a car bumper, wondering how he ended up there so fast. The crowd watches in stunned silence as Jake releases Tommy and stands up, not even breathing hard. Marcus struggles to his feet, clutching his dead arm. His face burns with humiliation and rage. "You think you're tough," he snarls. "You think this makes you special?" Jake looks at him with something that might be pity. "No," he says quietly. "It makes me trained. There's a difference." He slings his backpack over his shoulder and starts walking away. Then he pauses and looks back at the three boys. Really looks at them. My dad also taught me something else. He said the strongest people don't use their strength to hurt others. They use it to protect those who can't protect themselves. His eyes sweep the crowd, finding the faces of other quiet kids, other outsiders who've watched this scene play out dozens of times with different victims. Maybe think about that next time. 6 months later, Lincoln High is a different place. The hallways are quieter, not because students are afraid, but because the culture has shifted. The unspoken rules have changed. Predators think twice before circling their prey. Jake Morrison still walks like a ghost through the corridors, still keeps to himself. But now, other quiet kids walk a little taller, knowing that sometimes justice comes in unexpected packages. The truth is, we live in a world that teaches us to judge books by their covers. We see the worn shoes and assume weakness. We mistake silence for fear, kindness for vulnerability. But the most dangerous people are often the ones who've learned that true strength doesn't need to announce itself. It doesn't swagger or boast or pick fights to prove its worth. Real strength is discipline. It's choosing not to use your power unless you have to. It's understanding that your greatest victory isn't defeating your enemies. It's making sure they never want to fight you in the first place. Jake's father was right. Some people mistake kindness for weakness, but they only make that mistake once. Because at the end of the day, it's not about the size of the dog in the fight. It's about the size of the fight in the dog. And sometimes the quietest dogs have the biggest bite. If this story of hidden strength and unexpected justice resonated with you, show some love with a like and subscribe for more tales that prove things aren't always what they seem. And remember, drop a comment sharing a time when you or someone you know surprised everyone with their hidden abilities. These real-life stories inspire the content you see here, and I read every single one. Until next time, stay strong, stay humble, and never underestimate the quiet ones.
Remember to always be kind.